You know, I found an old picture of you the other day. You were just a chubby,
Yeah, just fatty.
40-something-year-old.
Yeah.
You know, what were you doing for work then at that point?
Selling motorcycles.
Right here up in the corner?
Yeah, right at Van Nuys. Van Nuys Boulevard.
And were you making a good living selling motorcycles?
Big money.
Really?
Big money. Yeah.
Because of your experience, or?
Because I think I was the only guy there that liked motorcycles. So everybody else was just like employees, where that's where they worked and they were burnt out. So when people came in, they could tell I knew everything about the bikes. I loved the bikes.
And they're big out here because you can weave in between traffic.
And the weather's always great.
And that too, yeah.
So they'd come in and I knew everything about them. And other guys would be like, I remember guys would do this. They would be sitting on the couch like, oh, yeah, this guy never buys shit, dude. And they wouldn't get up. And then I would go up, hey, what's going on? And that day they would buy a bike and they'd go, what the fuck? You know, the guy's working there. I fucking talked to him for 2 years. He didn't buy shit.
What kind of bikes were you selling?
Harleys.
Just straight up Harleys?
Straight up Harleys.
And that's a tough sale.
Tough sale because it cost big money. And what happened was I was doing it, making good money. And then that whole Fannie Mae and everything hit, where everybody's loans tanked on their homes and people just gave their bikes back and no one was buying bikes. So you went from making, let's say, like 10 grand a month to 900. I remember I got a check for $900. I go, I just worked a month for $900 because it's commission only. And I was like, what am I going to do? You know, because I was just blowing money thinking it was going to happen forever.
How long did you work there for?
3 years. 3 years.
It's a nice gig when you're selling and you're making money. People have no idea how much fun it really is to sell something. The value, not like insurance because they can't see it.
Right.
That's a very hard sale.
That sucks.
Anything that you can't. But when you're selling something that you believe in, like I worked with this company when I first got divorced. I thought I was going to work with them forever. It was pretty basically an old school telemarketing scam, but I liked the product because it cut through the shit. I guess when you work in doctor's office, everybody has to be trained in that stuff. I forget what it comes to mind. There's a guideline that you have to work on. There's a name for it, CISO or something like that. I forget what the fuck it is. And I would call these doctors. They paid me $15 an hour and $35 every time they kept the thing. And I would work 30 hours and walk out of there with I can't tell you how much a week.
Yeah.
It lasted for like 7 months, and then they said they had to move to Denver. They were moving to like the other side of Denver, and I'm like, I can't. Yeah. I can tell you I'm going to do it. I'll do it 3 times. I'll get coked up one night. And this was perfect. There was times I would get coked up till 5 and still be there at 9.
Yeah.
And what's that fucking guy? I forget what it is. Not CISO, but
OSHA?
OSHA.
Oh, OSHA.
It would make every doctor's office OSHA regulated.
Yeah.
So I believed in it. So I would call these doctors. It's tough to get a doctor on the phone.
Oh, yeah.
And say, listen, get it, look at it. The scam was if they didn't send it back in 30 days, then they had to pay the $249 or whatever it was.
Yep.
You know how many doctors send shit back, and it really did qualify you. So when OSHA came in, you were up to standards and all that shit. You know, when I sold cars, it's funny. The other day I was thinking about, my wife and I were talking about how quick it is nowadays to get, what's that word, like Kevin Spacey, you know, to get Louis C.K.
Oh.
It's, I don't know what the word is, to get
accused?
Like, no, like just one day you're this big thing in today's society.
Well, just erased.
The next day you're erased, you know? And I was telling my wife, it's kind of like when you go to prison and your name comes out in the paper. You getting arrested is one thing. Like when you get arrested and you get arrested for a pound of weed, but when you get arrested and your neighbors see the cops coming to your house, and then your name comes out in the paper on like page 2, no, even the fucking mailman will drop the mail off weird to you. But you don't know that till it happens. Like when I came out on bail, people's behavior towards me was fucking horrendous. And it makes you, it makes you feel really bad.
Yeah.
But there was one guy that did not turn on me. There was one guy that was like, fuck it. So what? You kidnapped somebody. Good for you. You fucked up,
You fucked up.
His name was Jim Wheeler, and his kids own a motorcycle shop now in, like, North Dakota. He was originally from Detroit, but he was a big Bruce Lee guy, and I never forgot that guy. Like, I never forgot Jim. And his son listened to the podcast one day and hit me up on Facebook and said, when you said his name, it blew our mind. And he was one of the only guys that, like, he was getting married like 2 weeks later, and he's like, he coming to the wedding. And people coming up to me at the wedding just looking at me and turning their heads like it was that fast.
Yeah, yeah.
And the point I was trying to make, I enjoyed my salesman days. When I sold cars, those days where you're nothing but a salesman. And you talk to people, and they're like, can you give me a brochure? And, and you have to, it's an art to take somebody who's looking for a brochure and go, you're here already.
Yeah.
Why look at a brochure? Let's take it for a drive. And you learn how to control a person by not controlling them. If it's 2 PM and you ain't high, go fuck yourself. Get out of my face. I want you around me like I want cancer in my ball sack. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna come around here looking at me with your fucking wide eyes, thinking that I'm gonna reform. Go fuck yourself. My morning starts at 5:30 a.m. Either you're there or you're square. You know what I'm saying?